Almost there, folks. Once we're recording, we'll get cracking. Foster's. Almost there, folks. Now, make sure I turn that off so we're not getting... yeah, we're not getting... not getting echoes. We don't want the echoes. All right. Now we are cooking with gas. We are ready to go. Welcome to the very final session. Well, actually, not accurately. It is the final session of the Academy, although there are two sessions for 2018. For those of you who are graduating in 2018 and moving on to hopefully greener pastures, well done and congratulations to you. For those of us who are joining for 2019, it's going to be very exciting. I've got some pretty major announcements for you coming in just a moment's time, which is going to be a lot of fun as well. So it's going to be great. But today's session is we do retrospectives from time to time. We either do them on a monthly or a weekly. Sometimes we do weekly retrospectives, and we definitely do sprint session retrospectives where we look at in a way that's non-threatening if we don't learn from what we've done, well, that's very sad. How can we improve if we don't look at it? And entrepreneurs in particular are very, very poor at remembering particularly the good things that they have achieved and they have done. And it's not your fault. It's actually science. It's the Zeigarnik effect. Good old Ethel. Wasn't Ethel, actually. It was, what was her name? God, terrible. If somebody can write in chat what good old Mrs. Zeigarnik's surname was. She first documented that when we forget very quickly events in our life which have no emotional attachment to them, and consequently we remember things far more clearly the more emotional attachment there is to them. Now, in the life of an entrepreneur, typically, what do we get emotional attachments to? When things have gone wrong in the week, where we felt overwhelmed, we've got our emotions that are high. We remember that and I can refer to, and I try not to belittle the syndrome by any stretch of the imagination, but entrepreneurs can be a very manic depressive bunch, right? They can either be super excited about something or not excited. And what that means is that you forget all the good things that you have done, because typically when you've done something which has just worked but is not a huge deal or anything like that, you forget about it. You dump it out because you've got a whole bunch of other things that you're trying to remember. And the other thing that she discovered was that it actually has a caloric impact, right? Your brain actually keeps open any unfinished task, right? So it keeps open every unfinished task, and that takes energy. That literally consumes calories. And so when you, even though if you consciously aren't thinking about it, you are subconsciously thinking about it. And it's very hard to be creative. It's very hard to add value to a process when you have all of these open loops, and it literally takes energy from you. It literally saps energy from you. So the retrospective, which became a very powerful thing in software development through the various agile technologies like Scrum and all the different flavors of agile. Bloomer. Thank you, Sharon. How could I forget Bloomer? And those, all of those sort of advice, one of the key elements of it was that if we don't look at what we're doing in an objective way, we will not look at, how can we improve them? We cannot manage what we are not measuring, and that's a huge deal. The trouble is with retrospectives, typically when they're done, the biggest problem with these retrospectives is that we don't, we don't do them in a controlled manner or a scientific manner. And so they become very emotionally charged. And anybody who's been in any sort of performance review as an employee, you'll know how much the average employee review or 360 review, or call it whatever the hot management technique is, they universally suck as a general rule. Yet there's a way to conduct these things, which is a really, really good way. And that's, so what we're going to do today is a variation of a retrospective, but it's an annual retrospective. So we're going to look at the wins and the things we learned in 2018. And then what, at the end of this project, we're going to be looking at, okay, well, what's an experiment we can conduct in 2019? What can be our focus, right? That we can look at. What's the lever that we can pull that is going to give us the most juice with the help of, to help build our business in 2019? Because unlike these millennials, although bless you if you're a millennial watching this, who are living at homes with their mum and they can burn the candles at both ends and all those sorts of things and they can recover. I'm very jealous. What we need to be thinking about is, you have a life of commitments and obligations and all of those sorts of things. So it's very important for us not to try to do everything, but to focus on key leverage points that really matter. And that is a huge deal. Now, before I go any further, I want to make a couple of announcements for those of you who are continuing with the Academy in 2019. The first thing is a Christmas present or holiday present, to be non-denominational, that every Academy member is going to be receiving a copy of the recipe. The program that's for 2019 members, not 2018, sorry, graduates, but 2019. And the reason for this is it's become way bigger and way more impactful than I could have possibly imagined when I started it. And it's a really, it's something that, the initial realization that putting a time period, a time box like a 30 days or 60 days or produce something in 90 days was really one of the big negatives in trying to get people to do businesses, because of them hitting that overwhelm and realizing that there are tickets, that if you approach it from a tickets mentality, so you're just knocking over tickets, that is going to be a far more powerful way to go. That was where we started with the recipe, but it's turned into way, 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 way more than that. It's becoming a really big deal, such a big deal that I really want to focus, given all the people who are doing the recipe are going to be joining the Academy in January. They're going to be with us for a couple of months, January and February, that I wanted to really focus everybody on that, because if I thought, what's the best thing that I could do to get your 2019 off to a really cracking start, it's really utilizing all of this technology that we're developing and putting in with the recipe. It really has grown to something that is just really beyond my expectations, and it really seems to be resonating. So surprise, all returning Academy students in 2019 will be getting a copy of the recipe. So keep an eye out in your final email for the year, which will be on this Friday, because and this is the other announcement, I'm going on holidays. I will be turning into an internet pumpkin on this Friday, the 14th, and I will not be coming out of that pumpkin-like state until the start of the new year, where we'll have a big, nice January 2nd welcome party. right? So I'll be taking my annual holidays. So I won't be on the Slack group. Behave. I'll be. I've got my little helpers in there. Just the Slack is one of the most valuable. You talk about great things in 2018. The move from Facebook groups to a Slack group in the academy was major, because what I'm starting to see people starting to do is they're starting to use it as like our work Slack, right? Our work group, which is just fantastic. That's really what like people are on there, and they're just like you use Slack in a normal work and office environment. I'm seeing just fabulous, interaction, and people are really starting to get into it. So, and I really want to, I've got some great ideas for the Academy in 2019 about really amping up the usage of our Slack group to bring in because Slack has become such a powerful thing for running businesses, full stop. There's some things we can do in the education process, which I'm really excited about, that we're going to be doing in 2019. So I'm super duper pumped for that as well. Oh, John's made a comment. Can I say it's a game changer? The clarity the recipe has given me is undescribable. Yes. I thought that it really is that impact. Like, it is just crazy good. And that is why I want to focus on it in January and February of this year with everybody in the academy, because, as I say, all the recipe students will be joining the academy in January and February anyway. So why not? I thought that would be an awesome thing to do. All right. So that is the announcements section out of the way. Now we are going to be talking about, enough about me and enough about the academy in 2019. Let's send off 2018 in the most practical and valuable way that we possibly can. Right. So that is going to be good. Oh, and Andrea said, don't forget before you go, the best book. Yes. You academy, or everybody who is returning for the academy in 2019, I will be sending you a special email. In that email, as soon as you get this email, you're going to have to open it. Now, I don't get any money from this book. Oh, well, I might use my Amazon link. So I might get 2 cents. But this book, right, you don't even try guess, because there is not a snowflake's chance in heck that you have seen this book, right? It is just absolutely groundbreaking. One of the reasons that you haven't seen this book is because it's just been translated from German. Okay, so that's part of the reason. So it's just no way, shape, or form is this book. You would guess it in a million billion years. I will be sending you a link to because when I release my full book of the year, which will be Friday, right, it's going to sell out immediately and instantaneously. All right. So as soon as you get this email, do not dally. Go buy this book, right? It is, as I say, amongst my friends, it has just created a earthquake, right? So don't miss this book. As I say, I wish it was my book. It's not my book. It's got nothing to do with me. It's just outstanding. So keep an eye out for that email in the academy. That's for returning 2019 graduates, right? So because we'll be using that book all throughout 2019. So keep that in mind. So when you get that email, make sure you utilize it. And you will be getting it slightly earlier via email. Not slightly earlier, you'll be getting a full day before I let everybody else know what it is in the Book of the Year broadcast. Right. So keep that in mind. There you go. Thank you for reminding me about that, Andrea, because that was the other announcement. All right, let's get into some work. I hope you're ready to work, as we always do here in the Academy. It's time for us to have a look back at 2018 in a very special way. I'm going to guide you through a series of questions, and well, let's just start. And through these series of questions, in a way that I think will look at things very positively. We'll have a look at things that we can, our wins for 2018 and what we can learn for 2018. All right, so let's get cracking. So the first thing I want you to have a look, right, and as we always do with retrospectives, we always split out the business from the personal. Why do we do that? Because if we attach personal issues to business issues, then they develop up a series of emotions. Those emotions then feel like your psyche feels like you're being attacked, and it causes great stress. So first of all, when I ask these first questions, I want you to pretend like you're looking over your shoulder at you, like you're playing the game of you, right? You're playing a computer game, and it's the computer game of your life, right? So that way we're separating yourself out. So you're an observer. When you're answering these questions, you are answering these questions as an observer. So here's what we're going to do. First exercise, big or small in relation to your business. So not personal wins. We'll get there. We'll talk about personal stuff. But right now, I just wanted you to focus on the business of building your business in 2018, right? Big or small. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to think about what were your wins for 2018. Look at all through the year, where you started the year to where you end the year. What did, from a business perspective, what did you achieve? What did you do? Biggest or smaller? You may have run some campaigns. You may have learned how to do Facebook advertising. You may have done some testing or some experiments. You may have made your first dollar. You may have made your first $10,000, whatever it is, right? I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to think through. I want you to think back and review through 2018. All right. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do that. Okay. Set a timer for 2 minutes.
Okay. 2 minutes and counting.
Doesn't matter how big or how small. It can be little things. Oh, John, no, it's not Seth Godin's book. I've got that queued up. I haven't even had a chance to read that yet. Okay, get your pen and paper out. Let's just jot down, big or small. What were the business wins for 2018? One of hey pussy, come here. Say goodbye to everybody for 2018. Goodbye. Bye everybody. I forgot to shut the door, didn't I? Forgot to shut the door. Go on. Off you go. Okay, we've got 30 seconds. And when you're finished, well done. I noticed a couple of girly swats already doing well here. Pop the wins in the chat. Nearly all my clients came back for another round. Fantastic. My book, 3 years old, was nominated as the German business book. Hang on. Oh, hang on. No. Hang on. That's great. Hang on. I'm going to. Okay. So if you could just top, one of your highlights into the chat, that will be fantastic. So we can celebrate it. I learned to use the ASK methodology. I learned that having a product does not. They're sort of learnings as opposed to wins. A win would be using the ASK methodology. Learns are different things. What were your wins, Andrea? Go back to your wins. Wins. Nearly all my clients came back for another round. My book, 3 years old, was nominated as the German business book by a woman of the year by a national business paper. Wow. That is amazing. Fantastic. German business books are about to get super popular on Friday. Win. Tested 3 market ideas, fleshed out a roadmap for one potentially great idea, and have a plan for the next couple of months. Fantastic. I mastered Kartra. That's a good one. I learned more about sales skills. I settled into one place to live and work. Created my first product. Started building first course. At the beginning of the year, I had no business, no market. I did some experiments, tried some new techniques for market selection. I now have a market, initial product in progress, big idea, and an idea for the funnel. Got rid of a bad business partner. That can be a huge deal and a big win. Big win, legal opinion. I'm not violating terms of my long stay visa. That's very good news. As long as I don't serve any people from Thailand, very good. I know a lot of people working from Thailand. Very popular. In fact, spoiler alert, for the first time ever, I'm coming to a conference in Thailand in February. One of my dear friends is running a conference there for the week, and I will be going there in February. Very excited about it. Ran 2 lean surveys to refine my product offer. Did ask method, chose market, used Facebook ads to do a direct deep dive survey, completed ask, started on a product, done a lot of thinking, chose next market. That's fantastic. Sold a few products on Amazon, which means I completed many steps from posting on Amazon to buying from China. Completed 8 podcasts so far for the new product. Tested Facebook restructured funnel approach for my sales. I mastered Kartra. Fantastic, right? These are good. Started first ever opt-in page and grew email list to over 3,000 people. That is awesome, right? Those are exactly the types of wins that we really need to celebrate. Finished entire E5 course. G'day, Wendy. Thanks for being understanding for today. I ran successful Facebook campaigns for triage clients, created YouTube channel, and have over 3,000 views. Awesome stuff. Very, very good. Okay, that is brilliant. Okay, now, Andrea, this is where I want to hear about your learns. So what did you learn during 2018? And this is just to clarify this, what did you learn about your business in 2018? Okay. Not what you learned personally yourself about yourself. We're going to come to that. Don't you worry. But what did you learn with your business in 2018? So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to have a good think about that. And like I said, please feel free to jot that into the chat box when you're finished. Okay, here we go. Set a timer for 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes and counting.
Business learns. Well, I've had some megas this year, I can tell you. Mega one, obviously, is the realization that 30 days is detrimental to people's success. Bit of a problem, given I've been doing that for the last 14 years, but that's all right. We learn, right? Learn about Instagram marketing. That was a good learn. Perhaps one of my biggest learns is thanks to all of the new smart device tracking technology, how much time I spend on devices and how much of that time is wasted. And, in some experiments we did with the academy earlier in the year, you wonder where you can get 3, 4, 5 CFTs from is just by reducing the amount of time you're on your device, particularly waste time, is really, really powerful as well. So there are a couple of my learnings for sure. Okay, we've got another 30 seconds. All right. Pens down. Okay, and just pop that into the chat box so we can go through them. Let's have a look. Learned about funnels, more comfortable now about using them. I am not my potential clients. What a great learning. Trust Facebook, their approach to my market, and piggyback on their understanding of my potential clients. Yeah, boy, talk about a big learning this year. There's many things where you shouldn't be trusting Facebook on. All right. Many, many things. But one thing you should be trusting them on is their ability to find the correct audience for you. And not only the correct audience, but the audience that wants to take the type of actions that you want is definitely a big change in 2018. Very, very good insight. Learned several likes, dislikes of my market, which surprised me. That's a great one. Learned about funnels, which is great. Learned a little about Instagram marketing. Learned a lot about how much time I waste. Yeah, that recovery of time, and that is something that in fact, spoiler alert, in January we'll be looking at that, and actually that's going to be part of. And again, spoiler alert, in my email to you on Friday, I'm going to ask you over the holiday period to keep a track of your smart device usage using the new tools that are available. Screen time on iOS and what do they call it, something else on, don't worry, I'll look it all up, on Android, because I suspect it's going to be a huge opportunity for you to really cull that time. And there's some really cool techniques that I've been utilizing to recover that time. Both for not only recover the time for work, but also recover that time for real rest, as opposed to or creativity enhancing, instead of what the science is incontrovertible now. It's literally sucking you of creativity, which is a real problem for us trying to create a business. Learn to say no when it's not the right fit for you or the client. Learn the value of offline and online business communities. Learn how to use Kanban. I'm so excited about that. There's a few Kanban messages, and that's great. Learnings, it's so boring because it's always the same. Just do it and then look back to evaluate, then go back and do some more stuff. Do one platform, not all. Realize the power of Kanban by finally doing it. Praise. Email content for my niche works best with video links. Have ideas for multiple products. The processes and systems I were using could not get me the results I was hoping for. Love Kanban, still learning. Boy, we're going to double and triple down on Kanban next year. I'm so excited. Don't trust Google AI for AdWords serving. Chris, we need to have a discussion about that. Right? I think, we need to talk. Starting from the core idea of journaling for personal growth, I finally figured out what the bigger idea is and what parts of growth process I've been overlooking. Nice. How quickly and early in the process I can test. Yes. What a great insight. CFTs work best with specific zone workspace. Oh, yes. What a huge learning for 2018. The impact of environment on our academy business. Yes. Oh, thank goodness you brought that up, because that has been huge mungo. And I can't wait to bring that to everybody in the academy in 2019, because that has a dramatic impact. You cannot do your obligations work, your day job, your academy project, and your rest in the same place. You just can't. And the science, again, incontrovertible, and that is such a powerful lesson. And again, that's science that literally was not available pre-2018, right? So very, very exciting. I'd lost sight of fundamentals, market message, traffic match. We all need reminders of that. That's why, being a member of the academy is such a powerful thing, because being part of the squad allows you in attending those engaged sessions once a week, and being in the Slack group is just such a powerful way of reminding you what's important on a weekly basis and getting you reorientated. Naps are best at 10 minutes. Gets me ready for CFT. Yes, another piece of science that was not available to us pre-2018, right? Naps longer than 10 minutes during the day really have a they have a positive benefit in the long term, right? But if you're trying to work, right, they'll knock you out. So 10 minutes is the ideal nap time, which is a big change from the 20 to 40 minutes that a lot of pre-2018 science would tell you is the case. Learning to set up revenue-enabled WordPress website with the help of Thrive themes tutorials, fantastic. Getting 8 hours sleep to maximize energy, praise. That is a huge deal. You know, smashing this bull dust sleep when I'm dead, you know, hustle till death stuff is insane. Like I said, if you're 20 something and living at home with your parents, go for it. Knock yourself silly. But for those of us who've got obligations and children and all sorts of day jobs and stuff like that, that is nutso. Kanban is cool. Having a squad helps keep up momentum. Praise. That is a fantastic. Kanban, I learned I can have an overall plan. Playing catch up is highly stressful. Yes, that's a personal thing. A screen time tracker was eye-opening. I've cut my time in half since it started. Big learn for me as well. I have a lot of work to do for my business. Yes, visual, big in-your-face things for entrepreneurs is just huge. Huge. That's why I have here it is. I was using it yesterday. Pew! Time timers and things, visual things. Even though we've got all of these clever little digital things, it's a big deal. It's not what I think will sell. It's about people want to buy and what problems you're solving for them. Big lesson, Miriam. Love that. That is fantastic. What a great set of business learns. That is fantastic. Okay, here's another question for you. Okay, if you look at your learnings, and if you look at all of the things that you've written down, if there's one thing for looking forward to 2019, and try to be as specific as you can, and I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about this. What would be the specific thing that you would want to improve on for your business, right? Not you personally. We'll get there, as I've said, but for you, for the business, get it right, Ed. For the business, what is the thing, right? What is the thing that you would like to focus on for your business to improve your business? If there's one thing that you think if you could implement for your business, okay? So it's a business strategy or a business tactic, not a personal thing, right? A lot of the things that we've talked about, energy levels and all those sorts of things, they're personal. We're going to come to that. For your business, what's your thing? And I'll tell you what mine is in a minute. Okay, so here we go. Set a timer for 2 minutes.
Okay.
No, not 10.
Counting.
Not 10. Set a timer for 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes and counting.
Thank you, Irish Siri. All right. What's the one thing for business you'd improve? And one way to think about it is to write down a bunch of things that you may want to improve, and then you've got a list to choose from. Is it one technique for doing that? Key focus for improvement. Look at all those lessons, and if there's one thing that you think could be the key focus for improvement, what would that be? One of the things I would focus on in 2019 is making sure I shut the office door so Eve can't come in and trash things because she feels she's hungry. That would be one of the things. But I will tell you, my business thing for focus for me is going to be evergreen funnels. Like I discovered this amazing Instagram funnel, worked beautifully. And of course, have I done anything with it since then? No. So for me, it's going to be persistent advertising funnels. That's one thing. And the second thing is team members, getting some team members. If there were two things, they are the two things that I am going to be focusing on. Now I'm going to eject Evie for just a second. All right, so just pop it into the chat box. Come here. I'll feed you in a minute. All right, let's have a look. What do we got here? Consistent and set scheduled live streams. Yeah, that's I could pinch that one too. Be more reliable with contact to my subscribers and posting out for attracting more of the right subscribers. Nice. Complete funnels for all my products. Improve social media delivery schedule. Yes, content marketing. We'll certainly be talking about that a lot in the academy because that is a classic farmer. That is literally like the farm, right? You plant in the spring. No, sorry. You plant in autumn to harvest in the spring, right? That's why I'm not a farmer, even though I grew up on one. Right? It's a long-term payoff, right? It's social media, content marketing, all of those things is something that you have to do, right? It's a long-term payoff. And that's why I like the recipe is focusing on our strengths so we can get a short-term payoff, which gives us the longer term. That gives you the motivation for the longer term, which is great. What else have we got here? Complete funnels for all products. Improves. Oh, we did that one. Get enough turnover happening to outsource the prices that I suck at doing. But the pieces, the work, I suspect that's what outsourcing pieces I suck at. Back end product to coincide with the front end product for the new business idea. Creating content. Let's have a look here. Use the squad more. Choose only one thing that is shorter work and focus only on that until it works. The issue to choose the right thing and to make it as simple as possible. I think, and I would modify that slightly because here's the thing. We can be certain of stuff that will not work. Okay. That we can be, we can always figure out how to say no. What we don't know, and no system can tell you, is what will work for certain. And anybody that tells you that is full of it because there's no way to do that, right? It's not possible, right? The best that we can do is make sure that we figure out that we're not wasting time. And as I talked about in the recipe session this morning, the best thing that we can do is that we can test quick, cheap, and safely so that we can determine whether we're on the right track or not. That's a much better way of thinking. So we don't invest a bunch of time in something that may not work for your particular market that will work with other markets. If we keep thinking that if we've got to wait till the thing that we choose is absolutely the right thing to work, you'll never do anything, right? You'll never get it out. So it's very important for you to test and to experiment. I've got cat whiskers all over my face. Hair, I should say. It's driving me nuts. Use the squad more. That is a good one. Business strategy, consistent sales through consistent lead generation. Get a funnel and autoresponder set up. Bolder steps with list building and connecting with my audience. Sales funnel for consistent revenue. Email follow-up. Chatbot follow-up. Yeah, chatbots are going to be a really interesting thing in 2019. Implement quicker. Tripwire implemented to minimize, negate costs. Figure out how to tie all my ideas together into one offerable resource for tribe customers. Finish systemization of processes and start and finish my academy project. Develop my capacity to use external resources more effectively. Freelancers and Fiverr. Yeah, that is a really big thing, which, and again, spoiler alert, I'll be talking about on Thursday in the recipe which is who, not hows. You know, Dean Jackson came up with this great concept. He calls it who's, not hows. And if you've got the resources to be able to pay somebody to do something technical for you, that's always more effective than you selling it for shizzle. Mastering and strictly adhering to the Kanban CFT system. I see this as a foundation. I want it rock solid. Yes, like even I need refreshing, and I've got to say, you know, one of the great things that I did, the huge win for me this year, was deciding to do that dare with the 30-day challenge group. It was fantastic. The best thing I've almost done in years, I would argue, because of how much I learned from it. But all of those sorts of things were fantastic. Be consistent in publishing content and repurpose it across multiple platforms. Offer creation sales. Brilliant. All right. Fantastic. All right. Let's go to our retrospective for personal. So now we're looking at you, and it's very important that I want you to think about this. I want you to observe, imagine you are your own high performance coach, right? I want you to imagine, so it's not you, right? You're a high performance coach that is observing you working. Does that make sense? Right? I want you to answer these questions, not from you, right? I want you to pretend and put yourself in the position as a high performance coach, right? You're a high performance coach and your client is you. Hopefully that makes sense, right? So I want you to just play along with me for this one, right? I want you to be an observer to you, the person, right? So you're your own high performance coach. So as you're asking these questions, I want you to take that conceit of observing yourself from that perspective. And it's very important. I'll explain why after we've done the exercises. All right. So here we go. Okay. So first thing I want you to do, and I'm going to give you 2 minutes, is to look at the wins, right? Look at for you personally, maybe you you had more energy because of a process, or you found that you were able to schedule things better. Look at all the wins, big and small, for you as a human being, as a personal, as observed by your personal high performance coach. Doesn't matter how big or how small. Jot them all down. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes. Set a timer for 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes and counting.
What would it be for me? Definitely device dependencies, like starting to think much more about single use time, like an environment actually is huge, and single use device, so that you can't be distracted by the dings, bells and whistles of modern life, right? That would definitely be a big part of it for me. Okay, got another 37 seconds. And when you're finished, I'd love to see a couple of them up in the chat window. Okay, so what were your wins? Not what you learnt. What were your wins? Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, so the way I would frame this is that you conducted a lot of experiments this year. That's a win, right? The more experiments that you conduct, whether the results, pardon me, sorry, whether the results were what you hypothesized or not, doesn't matter, because the person who does the most experiments in your market wins, right? The more experiments you conduct, the more ad tests you run, the more offers that you create, the more content that you create. The person who does that the most wins. So let's have a look here. We've got started sleeping more, implemented boundary between home and work, more energy from increased exercise, watched way less TV because more committed to getting my biz underway, doing a better job of using the Kanban board and knowing what to do next. Took lots of paid classes this year. Normally I only take the free ones, and learned a ton. Got to speak on stage at a 900 attendee tech conference, learned to say no more effectively, and now fewer distractions on my plate. I now check email only a couple of times a day. Nice. Very good. Okay. Had to move and found nearly immediately a new apartment in Munich. Did often a daily retrospective. Loved it. I just got fired from my team of one. Coach sacked me. That can be a really good thing. Yes, knowing when to step out and get somebody else to do it is a really powerful thing. Reignited a long-term friendship. Lovely. That's awesome. Got better at organizing the day when Kanban and using CFTs. Improved workspace by clearing workspace and more focused. Continued practicing and learning how to use Kanban. Learned more about finding out about the market. Got out of comfort zone and networked more at a conference. Fantastic. Yeah, conferences are powerful. Started to accept, that's absolutely one of my learnings, is that I'm going to be on the road a lot more next year. So I'm looking forward to that. In February, I'll be in Thailand at a conference, and I'll be at San Diego for traffic and conversion this year. So I'm looking forward to that. Started to accept, adapt, adjust when plans go awry or interrupted instead of getting frustrated and stressed. That's a big one. Sold apartment, cleared plate for business, found my ideal routines. Using mind-focusing routines made me more productive. Kanban is changing my life. I love to hear that. Drastically changed my health for the better. Started keto, lost weight, more energy. Yeah, that keto is working well for people, right? Made time for friends, identified my passions. Brilliant. With everything you've dealt with this year, you've come through and are now mentally stronger. Fantastic. Plan to move from Michigan from Illinois. Plan was accomplished. I'm now in a new home, and it feels like a home finally. That's awesome. Finally claimed my space and helped my adult child leave home. Yeah, kick those kids out. No, I mean in a nice way. I took the leap to do an online business. A lot of fear to overcome. I overcame fears to do them online. Implemented a morning formula routine. Started meditating. Big one. What a great one. Fantastic. Well done. Well done. Okay. Now let's look at those lessons. And again, from the perspective of if you were coaching yourself, right? If you're a high performance coach performing yourself, and some of you framed sort of the stuff that you were talking about as lessons, that's okay. But let's really refine it. What are the things that you learnt personally, all right, about yourself as viewed from your being yourself as a high performance coach, if that makes at all sense? I'll give you 2 minutes. Set a timer for 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes and counting.
Definitely, for me, device dependence. And you can use your device lots, right? But it's how you're using and what you're using them for is such a big deal. Yeah, power of recovery. That you must, including rest and recovery, is totally vital in what we're doing, and understand it, particularly for students realizing the difference between academy, project, work, and so on. You sort of all in that as part of that together. Okay, we've got about another minute. All right, pop here a couple of your key ones in the chat. Learned I juggle too many things all the time. That's important to realize. And remember, just observing these things, right? There's a reason why the first step in every, any sort of addiction program is to admit that you have a problem, right? It's a big deal. CFT approach is a lifesaver. Learn to take breaks for my own sanity. Vacations are good. I can't tell you, and this year in particular, and it's something that I've learned for next year for the academy. The number of people who emailed me, say around July 4, and said, "Oh, I'm really sorry, I'm taking some time off. I hope to catch up, blah, 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 blah." Or then, "Sorry, I took some time off last week, I'll really try to catch up." The guilt with that, and it's insane, because here's the thing. If you're guilty about having a rest, then the rest wasn't worthwhile, right? You actually ruin the rest, which is a real problem, right? So that's a real challenge. Learned I juggled too many things all the time. Learned to take breaks for my own sanity. Vacations are good. Environment is important. Distractions, atmosphere, focused rest. Energy level is key. Yeah, boy, did we learn that this year. Getting consistent, regular sleep is important. Need to take time to grieve and not feel guilty about it. Yeah, for goodness sake, particularly unexpected events. Boy, a friend of mine used to, unfortunately, my Molly's, she doesn't even know yet, the mother who took her to all her rehearsals, we would carpool together, and we've done for the last 6 or 7 years, died incredibly unexpectedly yesterday. It's unbelievable, right? And you just can't, life is valuable. But when something like that happens, right, trying to think that you should battle through and create a business is insane. It's just insanity. And what happens is that neither the grieving process or the business process gets the time it deserves, right? It's just, crazy. So I'm glad that was a lesson. Need to approach life as an experiment and not be so daunted by unintended outcome. Learn to pivot more quickly. And it's nice to work with other people, but you need boundaries so you don't depend on them, because you're the only one who really knows what you need and how to get the best out of yourself. I personally wasted 7 months of this year trying to follow instructions from my new day job that was subsequently changed and left me nothing but more debt. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a job if it leaves you with debt, right? I learned more about what times of day it's useless for me to try to do anything productive. Yes, we do have times of day, absolutely. And which tasks are more likely to be done or not done at which times. Great learning. I need a third place in my house that's not my day job work from home desk and not the easy chair next to the TV. I just figured out where this is tonight. Learned just the other day that, according to Gretchen, I'm a rebel. Gretchen Rubin stuff. Looking forward to learning how to work with that. I learned about imposter syndrome and how it was affecting me. Yeah, wow, what a biggie. That is a fantastic one. Finally claim my space. Oh, we got that one. Management of energy is vital. Focus on what I cannot control, not to focus on what I cannot control. Get that right. I have ADD. Who would have thought? I'm learning to choose to focus on one thing to get more done. Yeah, look, all entrepreneurs have an element of one of the things that unites us is our low follow-through numbers in a Colby index sense. That's not a bad thing, all right? That's not a bad thing. But we also, because that's the thing that makes us very poor employees, right? One of the reasons we want to have our own business is because we're really poor employees. Right, so it does make a big difference for sure. Okay, so what are we going to focus? What's one thing? If there's one thing that you could focus on in 2019, it could be a small little thing that, like, from a personal thing. What would your high performance coach tell you? And this is why I've been framing this question this way. What's the one thing your high performance coach would tell you to focus on in 2019 to make the biggest impact? Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 minutes to think about that. Set a timer for 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes and counting.
So what would your high performance coach tell you? What's the one thing that they would tell you to focus on to really improve things for 2019? Let's not use a Sharpie on my iPad. That'd be a bad move. And yes, some of you have already done this. Thank you. Once you've got it, pop it in the chat window. Okay, got 30 seconds. All righty, pens down. Fantastic. Let's have a look. Make every business effort play. Explore possibilities, playful. Yes, the science of gamification. Sorry, Dr. Fox, I know you hate me saying that, but it's easily understandable by people. That's a great thing. How can I improve this activity? How can I make this activity more fun? Is such a great question to ask. Get 8 hours of sleep. Praise. Get those CFTs done and take action. Quit diddling. Be more intentional about exactly when I will do my CFTs and start doing them in the new location I just figured out. Such a big deal. If you can tie CFTs to that location, it's a great thing to do. 2019, health and fitness. Yes, I hear you. Make time for social time, business time, and me time. Yes, so huge. And when you're doing me time, you've got to make sure, and the science on this is quite astounding, You can't have your phone anywhere near you in me time. You can't have a computer anywhere near you in me time. Any device that you use for work cannot be within visual range. Otherwise, your me time will not be me time. It will be completely ineffective. You will not get the rest, recharge, and creativity boost that you so desperately need. You've got to learn you've got to be in a different area, and you can't have your devices with you. All right. It's absolutely vital. Finally, go on a French river cruise. Oh, I'd love to do one of those. Such a great idea. I love the idea of those. My parents-in-law went on one and they loved it. Focus on your energy, consistent sleep, doing CFTs and rest built in. Eating smarter will improve mental focus. Huge deal. And if I was to say, Chris, what my one would be for next year, that would be my one. Maintain and improve healthy eating habits and workout routines. Just take action. It doesn't have to be perfect all the time. Become a better chef. Become a master chef. Sleep 8 hours. Ease back on how many classes I take and shift focus to implementing what I learned and building the business, except for the academy, of course. Absolutely. Well, even then, I try to discourage, the academy. I want you to show up ideally at least once a week because it's a great way to get yourself. It's a week. It's an hour of you really focusing and reorientating yourself. Right. That's a really big deal. Even it's play or break time items too. Now, Tad, this is an interesting thing. Even if it's a play or break time items too, and this is bad news, Tad, and this was bad news for me too, right? If you're, say, playing for, I don't know, let me throw something out there, Clash Royale, even though you're one of the best in the world at it, not saying who that is. If you're doing that on your business device, like your phone, that is not a rest activity in any way, shape, or form. You have to use a different device, right? You can't use your work devices for recreational activities, right? You just can't, right? The science is incontrovertible with that. It's a big deal. Physical well-being, exercise, eat more and eat better, set time limits for work time. Remember, small things you do every day add up to big things later. So true. Improve writing stories and copywriting. Lord's Mobile, got to play in my head, I'm afraid. Exactly. Right. It makes a big, such a huge difference, these things. And these things are important. And what's going to be awesome and super exciting is that we're going to work on all of these things in the academy in 2019. So, as I say, for those of you who are rejoining in 2019, I'm so excited to be working with you. For those of you who are graduating in 2018 and moving on, thank you for being part of the academy. Thank you for allowing me to be your teacher during this period. And I wish you all the best for the future as well. And for everybody else, I'm not going, I'm around till Friday, but once I'm on Friday, I'll see you all in the new year. Look out for an email on Friday and then for an email in the new year for all our new class times. And don't forget that everybody who's returning in 2019 will get a copy of the recipe, because we'll be utilizing that a lot in January and February as well. So with that, thanks very much, everybody. See you in 2019. Have a great holiday. I know I will. I know I deserve it. And I know I won't be taking my work devices. So with that, ciao for now. See you all. And let's kill it in 2019. Thumbs up. All right. Speak soon.